What's up, guys? It's your favorite Kiwi coach, and give me 6 months of your time, and I'll give you the best golf swing of your life. So welcome back to the channel. In this particular video, we've done some recent videos where we reacted to Michael Jacobs, and I really like the concepts that he talks about when it comes to the 3 types of torques, gamma, beta, alpha. So this particular video, we're going to go into those torques in a little bit more detail, specifically talking about the P6 to P Hachi range, which is kind of the business zone or the impact zone. So if you're interested in, what type of torques are we applying on the grip, on the club, in that section of the swing, this is the perfect video for you, and let's go ahead and jump in. But before we get into the video, I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, and that is Kiwi Golf Japan. If you did not know, YouTube does not pay the bills. So if you want to help support this channel and allow us to continue to make videos for you guys, after the video is over, there'll be a link down below. Go ahead and check that out. It really helps support this channel. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into alpha, beta, gamma, and let's do it. So if you guys have never heard of Michael Jacobs, again, we've done some videos recently. I highly recommend watching those videos first where we react to some of his YouTube videos before you guys come into this video, because it's going to make a lot more sense what we're talking about in this video if you have watched those videos. Now, if you have watched those videos, you'll probably wonder to yourself, okay, I understand I've heard alpha, I've heard beta, I've heard gamma, and I kind of understand about certain sections maybe of the golf swing and how those could be applying. But when it comes to kind of P6 to P8, how can I actually apply those rotations, those torques, to be able to hit the golf ball a lot better? And that's going to be the main purpose of this video. So the first point of the video, I do want to just quickly review. We're going to go over alpha, beta, gamma. We're going to show you kind of what rotations those really are, as well as the 2 types of rotations for each one. And then once we get past that part, we're going to start talking about P6 into P Hachi. How can we use those alpha, beta, gammas? All right, so let's get into the first rotation. It's going to be on the alpha axis, or the alpha rotation. So if I move from side to side like this, almost like a door hinge, right? This would be the alpha rotation axis right here. So as you can see, if I rotate this way, let's just call that left alpha axis. Now in the Michael Jacobs 30 system, they distinguish like positive and negative is going to be the terms that they use. I always forget those, honestly, and I apologize to Tass, actually, who's a good friend of ours. He's probably just hitting his head right now. You got to start remember those, but I always forget them. So I'm going to just call this, from my view, left alpha axis. I'm going to call this over here right alpha axis rotation, just to simplify it for me. And I think for you guys at home, maybe it might simplify it as well, easier for you guys to understand. So that's going to be the first axis of rotation, and that's going to be the alpha axis. Then from here, we're going to have the up and down rotation, which is going to be the beta rotation. So let's just call this up beta rotation, and then let's just call this down beta rotation. That's going to be the second axis of rotation. And then the third and final axis of rotation is going to be the gamma rotation. And let's call this one right here counterclockwise rotation, and let's call this clockwise rotation on the beta axis. Now that you guys got all the definitions for this particular video, let's go jump in and start getting into kind of P6 all the way to P8. How can we use these rotations to be a better golfer? So now when it comes to P6 to P8, all 3 of those rotations that we just talked about, we use throughout that section of the golf swing. So to start this video, I do want to go over alpha rotation first, because I think it's very easy for you guys to understand. And then after we get past the alpha rotation, which again, I think is going to be a very important role, then we'll start to get into the up and down rotation, the beta rotation, because that's also very, very important. And then last but not least, we'll talk about more so how the toe closes, which is going to be through the gamma rotation. So let's go ahead and start out and explain to you, why is alpha rotation so important for us to get? So if you can remember, we're going to have this left alpha rotation relative to myself looking at the club, and then we're going to have the right alpha rotation. So if I come into the golf ball and I only have right alpha rotation, watch what's going to happen as I swing and try to hit the ball. As you can see, the club head missed the golf ball from the inside. So if I have right alpha rotation all the way into impact, the club head will never move out towards the golf ball, hence will never hit the golf ball. So this is something that we must avoid, and a lot of you guys who are underneath the plane, this is exactly what you guys struggle with. So what the better players are doing, from position 6, assuming your club head's in a decent spot, we are going to see that the alpha rotation is going to be more so towards the left side, right? So left alpha rotation. And that, as we start to move our hands towards kind of around this arcing area, which I don't want to get into the force pattern of the hands in this particular video, but as we start to move the hands correctly and we have that left alpha rotation, you'll note that the club head starts to move out towards the golf ball to align to the ball. And that is exactly what we want to be doing in that section of the golf swing. And that is why alpha rotation is so important. So just think about alpha rotation is really going to control the entry and exits into the golf ball. So If I have too much of that left alpha rotation too early, the club head moves out too much too early, and I'm gonna have to pull across the ball to align the sweet spot to the ball. If I don't have enough of it, right, then what's gonna happen is the sweet spot's too far inside, and I'm gonna have to have a last second left alpha rotation extreme amount to push that sweet spot out towards the golf ball. So the goal is we want to have a good amount at the right time in that section. And that is, again, why left alpha rotation is very, very important in this particular point in the golf swing. So now as we get into impact, the left alpha rotation is simply just continuing. And what we're trying to do is by the time the hands get right around hip high, we want to see that the club shaft looks somewhere right around here, which just simply means from P6 on this side to roughly just past P8 on this side, we are going to see that this shaft has gone and done 180 degrees of rotation roughly through that section of the swing. And that is all going to be towards that left alpha rotation. That is such a crucial move when it comes to getting club head speed, as well as just getting the overall feeling of the release. This is one of the most vital parts of the release, so this is why I'm bringing it up first. To review that, when it comes to the left alpha rotation, the first primary reason we want it is we want to move that club head out towards the golf ball so we can align and hit it. And then the second reason after that, once we actually get to impact, if we can continue that motion of left alpha rotation, we're gonna let the club shaft fully release, which means that we're gonna have a really good chance to deliver good energy into the golf ball, and we're going to have a really great release with a lot of club head speed. And that is alpha rotation, and that's how you're gonna be using it through the business zone. Now, the next rotation we're going to talk about is going to be the beta rotation, and specifically from P6 through P8, we're predominantly talking about this downward beta rotation, right? There's not necessarily any type of upward beta rotation in that section of the golf swing. Now, I'm going to probably recommend here in a second that you might need to feel like you're having this upper beta rotation, but in the real, that's definitely not happening, right? Or else you completely miss the ball. And let me demonstrate that for you. So if I get a P6 and I keep this upper beta rotation, right? So if I don't do any of this and I just keep this and I move my hands, watch what happens. The club head is going to be way above the golf ball, and I'm going to completely whiff and miss the golf ball. So this is why downward beta rotation is such a crucial part in this section of the swing, because it gets the club head down to the golf ball so that we can actually hit it. So as I'm coming into the golf ball, I'm going to be ever so subtly consistently going towards more of a downward beta rotation, which means that the club is now consistently lowering down. And then if I do it at the correct amount, you're typically going to get the bottom of the swing pretty much at the golf ball, or maybe even like 4 inches ahead of the golf ball. But the main point here is we're definitely seeing a downward beta rotation in the real consistently through that section of the golf swing. Then from there, as we get into impact, typically you have not fully downward beta rotated. So you actually still have some room left to go at impact. So after impact, as we're completing that left alpha rotation, we're also pretty much getting rid of all of the upper beta rotation, and we're starting to get all the way into that downward beta rotation range in that section of the golf swing. So to review, when it comes to the beta rotation, it's so important. If we have 0 downward beta rotation, we'll never get the club head hit the ball. If we have too much of that too early, the club head gets down to the ground too early, and most likely you're going to hit a lot of duffs, or if you pull your hands up, you're going to hit more of an upper blow and you're going to top the golf ball. So having the correct amount at the right time when it comes to that downward beta rotation is so crucial. Now, when it comes to a pro tip, in my personal opinion, I've seen so many golfers have the issue of actually getting too much downward beta rotation too early in that section of the golf swing. So probably 99% of our lessons, all we talk about is trying to keep that beta rotation, or if anything, the upper beta to be specific. And if anything, almost try to increase it as we start to move through the golf ball. That's a quick little pro tip that you guys might want to try if you guys are getting a lot of early releases, duffs and thins. Something you guys might want to try. But when it comes to the real, that is absolutely not happening, right? Because we missed the ball. So in the real, we are definitely moving towards that downward beta rotation, and that is definitely a must. So I hope you guys enjoy that part. Let's move into the last rotation. So now the last rotation we're going to be talking about today is going to be the gamma rotation. And by far, if you are struggling with curvature, most likely, especially if you're hooking the golf ball, you're probably struggling with gamma rotation. All right, that's it for you guys on YouTube. But before you guys click off, let me give you some quick wrap-up points. So when it comes to the 3 rotations that we talked about today, I think they're so important when it comes to the impact and business zone, but also throughout all of the backswing when it comes to controlling the club head and club shaft movements, which is so vital. You need to understand those 3 types of rotations and the 2 types of rotations within each rotation because they happen all the time and there's stuff that you need to be controlling if you want to control the club head. So I highly recommend go through this video a few more times, go through those rotations, really understand the subtleties between the 3 different ones, and then try to start thinking about, where does this occur other than the business zone like we talked about in this video. If you guys want to watch the full video, which there's a lot more that you guys didn't get on this particular video, make sure to sign up for the membership site. Again, it also supports this YouTube channel, so there'll be a link down below to that. Become a member today. We'd love to have you guys there. Sign up for the Kiwi Coach 6-month program if you guys want lessons, and I'll see you guys in the next video.